Neat.
I'm gonna just go ahead and put the longer matches on because they were working fine, and then we'll just go from there. No suave setups and into talk and whatnot. So,
Ooh,
oh,
swag.
okay. So this one loaded up very smoothly because it wasn't on YouTube's last bandwidth. All right. So we have Reno here, member of the Apex staff this year, top 100 melee player, Chic main and Fox enthusiast. Um, how you doing, man? How you feeling today?
Feeling pretty good. Just got my new beanie in the mail. Feels good. Just, that's about it. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Um, there. Just so before we start, I just want to say at 6:30 or 6:30 Pacific time and 9:30 Eastern time, there's going to be an announcement on the Apex Twitter. So it's really big concerning Smash 4. So I would Smash 4 of Apex. So I would definitely keep an eye out when that goes live.
Okay, that's definitely something I'm assuming we're just gonna read it out loud too as we're posting it, so we can have a little bit of talk about it.
Oh yeah.
Um, so right off the bat, let's just start with you. Basically, where you were born, where you grew up, what got you into gaming, things of that nature.
Okay. I was born in New York City, and I lived in Brooklyn most of my life up until very recently that I moved to California. I only moved to California at September of last year, and Cali's really nice and not cold. Um, and what got me into gaming? So when I was younger, my brother's 8 years older than me, so he would play Super Nintendo games, and me and him would get pretty heated games, or I thought it was heated, but obviously he'd be thrashing me because he has a concept of the game and I didn't. Um, and I would always just practice day and night to try to beat him. So I got really competitive, really competitive. And then I think the first time I beat him was when we moved on to StarCraft, and he had been playing for a while, but like casually, whatever. And I was playing StarCraft like day and night. And then when I finally beat him, he was like, "This didn't count." And I was like, "Okay, all right." So from StarCraft, there was pretty cool. I met cool people in StarCraft that I also started playing Diablo 2 with at the time, and then from Diablo 2, I went to Counter Strike. From Counter Strike back to Diablo 2 for a little bit, and then back to Counter Strike, and then how I got into Smash was really funny. I was at a LAN center playing Counter Strike with my team, and the internet went down, so we went downstairs and we were like, "Oh, there's like console games here. Let's all play Smash." That was my first exposure to Smash, and then one of my friends just kept destroying me. I'm like, "No, no, no. This isn't how it goes. Like, I'm gonna play Smash and destroy you." So we played a lot back and forth, and that's how I got the ball rolling in Smash. So it's a long chain of games to get to Smash, but I've settled on Smash because the amazing community. So I've just stayed true to Smash ever since, and I'll plan on leaving it anytime
So,
soon.
I mean, that's actually a really good thing that you brought up the fact that you kind of grew up on different games and then happened to find Smash. Um, before Smash, you played RTSs and MMOs. Where are they right now in your gaming standing? I guess.
So I don't. So I tried to play StarCraft 2 right when it was released because I thought it was going to be like, oh, it's going to be the actually good next StarCraft, but like I don't know, I didn't like it too much. It felt like the brawl version of StarCraft, just a little bit slower, and I wasn't into it. And but I also play Warcraft 3 when I was switching like on and off between when I was playing Counter Strike. So when I play Warcraft 3, I found Dota. So naturally playing a lot of Dota has led me to League. So I play League a lot right now, and I currently am in Diamond ranked in League for last season, and I still play Counter Strike Go now, and I'm ranked as a Eagle Master in Counter Strike. I play those when I can, when I'm not practicing Smash. Those are like my two go-tos, and I dabble in Hearthstone a little bit because I like card games. I play some Magic every now and again, but Yeah, definitely League and CS:GO are my strongest secondary games, I would say. But you know, only when I have time away from Smash.
Okay, and that's actually a good follow up. When do you find the time? You would think, like I mentioned before earlier, you're a top 100 melee player. You're diamond in league. You're what is it, second highest rank or highest rank in Go?
Oh, it's like third highest.
And yet you still manage to find time for Smash. And yeah, I mean, out of all the games, I think you could confidently say that's like your thing. And where is that time? Where do you find it?
Well, it's the thing is like when I first started playing Smash, I really went into the grind and learned and practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced practiced. So when I first really started taking it competitively, like learning wave dashing and all that, there was a few players in New York. Me has from New York, G Money who still plays, HPK who used to play. We played all the time, and we played for like 8 hours a day for weeks and weeks, and I did really poorly in school, and but we played so much that like a lot of the muscle memory is like ingrained in me. So like a lot of like, and then as my skill got more technical and technical, I picked up more of a mental game. And once you have those, like the basis, which is like your tech skill, and then like your mental game, then kind of it's almost like riding a bike in Smash, where it's like you can stop playing and then practice and then be right back to where you were again. In fact, sometimes even better because you think about new strategies and stuff like that. So it's kind of like I practice when I can, usually on weekends or when I stream. I'll do some solo practice, but when I go play people like for like in person, because it's kind of a rough trip out here. It's like 30 minutes to play anyone. So anytime I go play someone, I take it completely serious. I work on my strategies. Make sure not to really like mess around too much and try to like implement what I've been thinking about, because I think about Smash all the time. I like think about Smash every like time I see something, every time like I watch streams. I'm like, oh man, I want to try that. I want to try that. I want to do this. See what works for me. You know. So it's the quality time that you put in to practicing is really important. So I mean, we can play for extended period of times, which I can't do anymore. I feel like my hands get really tired,
Getting
and really
old.
not gather any. Yeah, I know. Really not gather anything from that extended time of playing, and then leave and come back and don't really understand what you've done wrong. But like when I play, I always try to really think what I'm doing through, and that adds like to the quality of when I practice, and then therefore like sticks more when I play in tournament and stuff like that.
And and it's really great that you bring that up too, making the best of the time. It was about, geez, I think it was 2 days ago. You just popped into my stream at like 2 in the morning, my time, East Coast, and I was messing around with a computer on stream, and you were so picky about what I was doing against this computer. And you were just like, no, you gotta zero death him. No, if you don't zero death him, you're just wasting your time. You gotta do this. You have to tech chase this way. You have to, and it's really funny because a lot of people that generally come into my stream, and I think most PM/melee streams, when they see people playing by themselves or on net play, they have that question like, what do I do when I don't have someone that's no close by to play with, or someone that's next door, and I have to play against the computer all the time. It's not gonna help me. It's not gonna help me. Well, it's the quality over the quantity. Which it seems like that's what you've been adapting to over the years. No more, Smash Fest till 3 in the morning. More of okay, we're gonna do 2 hours, but it's gonna be straight business. Um, so we talked about all the different games and everything like that. Was once when you first picked up Smash, and I'm assuming the place you were talking about was Web 2 Zone.
Yes,
Yeah,
Web to
okay.
Zone.
Because you said the console's downstairs, so when you go to Web 2 Zone, you get schooled by your friend. You're very upset by it. Is that the moment you're like, okay, time to get in the competitive scene? Did you kind of let it mull over a little bit? What year was that? Like, when did you realize
Um,
like this is my shit right here? This is what I want to grow on.
when my friend kept beating me, I was like insisted that we, play more often so that I can, you know, play him and then beat him and then, I have bragging rights, right? So, I'd play him a lot and we would go back and forth, and because it was so always so close and heated, I would um, be more motivated to play him, right? Until like we saw a random posting at Web2Zone for this is way back. This is 2000 like January, February 2006 when Web2Zone was hosting a DA Gauntlet. So Deadly Alliance was this crew that I didn't know about at the time in New York. With like DA Legendary West, the Samus player, PC was in that crew, Dyer, just to name a few. And me and my friend were like, "Oh, we're pretty good at this game, right? We're pretty like we're pretty good, pretty good for us, and we beat all our friends." So we're like, "Oh, we'll definitely join. Um, we'll definitely be freaking the best." And so we entered, and our first match was versus PC and West, and it was the worst thing ever. We were like, "How are you dashing like that? What's going on? What?" So we didn't know any advanced techs, like, and that's the tournament I met this Long Island player named Soup, and he is the one who kind of took us under his wing to teach us like the advanced techniques, and for us to get better. So that was where it all started. Like once we started learning more techniques, and then not only that, but playing with Soup and getting to know Soup as a person and getting to like he was in college at the time, so he invited us over to his college campus to play. So just being involved in that community, he was being so nice to us. Like the first time we met, ran him in the basement of a LAN center. Like just the fact that he was so nice and accepting, I was like, this is really cool. And we have had a lot of firsts together in terms of like college experiences or whatever. So because of that, I've become more, and ever since that time I've become more and more like warm towards smashers, even though like they might be complete strangers, right? But I'm not averse to talking to them or being chill with them, because like I've had really good experiences with smashers in general. So
Yeah, I brought it up a ton of times on my channel. People like Gallo and stuff like that when I first got into the PM scene, and openly just like coming over my house, like don't know who I am, where I live, coming through and teaching me things. And same thing with Guru and Frozen and these guys from Free Saltines. And we tell these funny stories because like I remember people like Vans and stuff years ago kind of being the same way and still being that way. There's very like, yeah, I'm in Yonkers now, but I'll drive down. Like what? Like who does that? But it's just kind of what the Smash community has got going for it. And I guess we were talking about the other night. That was kind of your first go at Melee though. And I said I remember you taking a break, and you're like, no, I didn't take a break. It was just like 08 to 10, and it's like, dude, that's 2 years. What I guess caused that break? And the reason I bring it up too is I saw a Reddit post earlier today. This made me kind of cringe, where someone actually openly said, "Hold on, gotta queue up the next video." Someone openly said, "Oh, Brawl never caused a rift in Melee. Brawl's dead now. It doesn't really matter." Da da da. And then I look at players like you, and you mentioned, yeah, I had to take a break from whatever it is, 2008 to 2010. Well, what caused you to take that break? Was it Brawl, or was it just in general, like, you weren't really into the scene?
So when Brawl came out, we were really excited about it. We were like, "Oh man, this is gonna be so cool! Brawl's gonna be the new Melee on updated graphics, updated whatever, right?" We were like, "Oh man, Brawl's gonna be amazing." Brawl turned out to be really slow. We still gave it a chance, like we, as in like everyone that I played with, people at Hofstra at the time. So like me, Has, HBK, we gave it a chance, right? And then it just didn't feel quite right, quite like Melee, and it's what everyone was playing. So there were weeklies in New York at the time held at WebZone who were mainly Melee, but then switched over to Brawl when Brawl came out, right? So that was the only like tournament option in our area for the longest time. It was like you have to play Brawl, or else that's the only type of Smash you can get to play. And it was like it was rough because we played Brawl, but we didn't necessarily enjoy it. So we still ended up playing like a lot of Melee. But it's just that like we saw a bunch of our friends who like transitioned to Brawl be like Brawl players almost full time, and then they stopped playing Melee.
Really quick, not to interrupt too much, but I don't think people realize that wasn't just in the area for you guys. That was like pretty much across the scene. Like you wanted to play Melee, sorry, we got Brawl. That's really it. and I don't think that it's like the documentary tries to do a really good job of bringing it up, but it's toward the end of it, so you don't really get too much information on it. But it really did kill Melee for a while. Like Melee was like on its last breath because no one wanted to host it anymore. And then
Yep.
obviously Alucard and a couple people came up with Rom and whoever else was involved, and that kind of helped jumpstart it again. But what were you doing in 08 to 10?
Um,
That must have been like a tough time,
it
gaming
was it
wise.
was like we only played Smash like together when we had time. Otherwise, it was like people who wanted to play Brawl played Brawl, and then I ended up playing like WoW for a while, and then I did more schoolwork, which was lame. But it was like we we played Melee, but we didn't take it as nearly as seriously. Like when we went to tournaments, it was like 14 people to 20 people max. It was like we went to really chill. I didn't really take it as serious during that time because everyone's like, "Oh, Melee's dead, dude. Melee's dead. Melee's dead." Because Brawl was like huge at that time, huge. And us Melee players, because the community shrunk so much, we became closer as a community, just the Melee community, right? Everyone got really close together because we were the only ones left playing, simply put. Like, and we all became homies, and that's when, through some discussions, we were like, Alucard decided to run a tournament, revival of Melee, and this was going to be like, if it wasn't successful, we were like, okay, if it's not successful, we're just done. We're gonna be done. Like Melee, we're gonna put Melee down. We're gonna just play Brawl, I guess, or whatever, or stop playing. But if it worked out, it'd be hype, and that's exactly what it was. It was exactly what we needed. It was like during ROM, it was I think like over 100 and something people came, and that was like insane considering the regular turnouts we used to get, which was like 20 people, and people came from all over the place. Like we had PC came back to play. Well, I think Mango came out to one of the ROMs. I said Ganon. Kage came out from Canada. It was really, really, really a lot of fun. So ever since Revival of Melee, things started to get picked up, and like the scene, all in general, started to come back because we uploaded videos onto YouTube, and like we had commentary, we had hype matches. Like Melee was like gonna see a resurgence because like a lot of people just didn't find the Brawl to be as hype. I think at least the former Melee players that played Brawl didn't find it to be as hype as Melee once was, I guess. So from then on, it was like I think around I don't remember when ROM 1 was, but it was probably like 2009, late 2009, 2010 was when we were like, okay, we're gonna get back into shape. We gotta do this because or else everyone's gonna just like forget about Melee. So, and then after that, we started taking Melee way more seriously because like we saw a resurgence of people coming back, and we started playing it way more. And you saw Brawl being hosted alongside Melee. So it was like, oh, okay, Melee's coming back. All right, I'm into it. Let's do it. And we never really stopped. We just took it less serious at the time, and then we started like kicking it back into gear when Melee was coming around again. And then I have to say, like one of the hugest enablers of Melee for New York in general was G Money at the time. G Money would anytime there was like a tournament on the weekend, dude, we'd be there. Like if it's on the East Coast, we're there, dude. Like
Hold up. Keep going.
it was like G Money. It was called the G Whip. So anytime there's like a tournament, like even in Virginia, we'd be like, okay, we're gonna leave Friday night at like not 8 p.m. after all the traffic, and then we'll be in Virginia by like 3 a.m. No problem. G Money like to speed. So G Money, the biggest enabler of Smash in New York at the time. So it was like, yeah, if it wasn't for him, a lot of Smash wouldn't have happened. So
Sorry,
big shout out to G Money.
This is a family stream. Sorry about that. All right, so I love that you bring all that back up, and what I wanted to hit up on too is something that I think kind of correlates only because I've known you in person for a while now. Melee Mix is kind of a resurgence, and it kind of ties in with sounds a little weird, but hang on with me here. Melee Mix's resurgence, more people are involved, bigger scene. You as a gamer, what I noticed when I noticed you as a person, you never really want to talk about your sexual orientation. I remember you coming to New York City to Brooklyn to hang out in my neighborhood, which is a pretty nice neighborhood, and there would be an internet cafe that we played at called VIP, and I remember us playing Counter Strike together, and we was like me and you against like 6 kids that were the berserk, like at that time belonged on the Jersey Shore. It was hilarious, and I think me and you housed them just completely, 2v6, and you just like carried it. Even like I could have been sleeping, you still would have done it on your own. And I'll never forget, like one of the people kind of whispers over, is that kid gay? I was like, I'm not on my place to talk. And I remember you being very private about it. And it kind of correlates, I guess, with you getting a little bit older. Melee being a bigger community with like a more tight feel. Is that when you felt as a gay gamer you could have opened up a little bit more? Because it seemed that way from the outside. Like bigger community, but a tighter community. You're more open about yourself. You got a little bit older, a little bit more, I guess, mature about it, and you didn't feel so afraid to kind of be out there about it.
Um, yeah, being in your neighborhood, dude, it was like a whole bunch of like really Jersey Shore like straight laced Italians that are kind of scary because they travel in packs. But um, I mean, because the Melee community was so much more intimate, and like I got cool with everyone on that kind of like more intimate-ish level. Like I knew what was going on in people's lives, even though they were just smashers when we played video games together. Like I knew what was going on, and so because of that, like to the New York Smash scene, I always felt like, you know, it was extended family. It was we were very close, and I actually came out to them. I think it was like 2008 or something, or 2009, and they didn't care, so they're just like, okay. And I think the first person I might have told was like Alucard, maybe, or I don't remember. I think it may have been J-Man. J-Man was like,
it's one or the other. They were always together. So if you didn't
yeah.
get the one, you got the other.
So he was just like, okay, what does that mean? So you like dudes? Oh, okay, whatever. Yo, you want to play Smash? All right. Like, from there, it was also like I told D1. D1 at the time. Let me tell you this story. D1 at the time. D1 was super religious, right? So I met D1 at a random WebZone tournament, and then we both found out we lived in the same neighborhood, and we were like, okay, so we live in the same neighborhood, we'll just play Smash, right? And then I wasn't really out to him. I barely knew him at the time, and he was like, okay, so we played and played, and then at the time when I was coming out to all the Smashers, I told him, and he was like, whoa, I did not know that. I did not. We were cool, and I didn't know that. But it was like, you know, he had a little bit of internal strife that was like, you know, can I be Christian and be friends with like a gay person? Like, he was not cool with it at the time I met him, because he's, you know, he was still going to like do Bible studies and going to church and like doing all that. And I was like, dude, I'm just like a regular person. Like, why does it matter? And he's like, from there, he was just like, all right. And then, you know, because we became so close, we're like really cool together. He just kind of just forgot all about it. And he was like, and then it was just like, yeah, okay, so yeah. And then even to this day, he credits me to like, oh, now that, you know, it was because I met Reno, that I'm okay with, you know, gay people in general, and like he kind of like thought about outside of his religion. And I was like, that's really sweet, like that he would credit me that. That was like really awesome. I sort of went off topic.
No, it's okay. No, and it's good. I actually like the fact that you bring that up, because I feel like last week we had Prague, and the constant tone of the interview was, man, this interview is so heavy, and you hear about Prague's life and whatnot. And I don't think that people understand it. It's not that it's heavy. It's just it's real life, and these are situations that you do go across, whether you're white, black, straight, Asian, all of them, anything. You know, you're gonna go across those situations in life, and it's a really cool story because, you know what, D1, which if you watch him, is probably the most energetic, accepting, and is a great face for the community. And you know, even he had like his issues with it, and that's normal. Like, you're gonna get that kind of stuff in real life. Now, sorry, I'm replaying one of the videos I already played. because I wanted to hit up on this too. Uh, we talked about uh, what was your biggest like um, moment last year or overall in your Smash career. And the reason I'm playing it again is it's you against PPMD, and it's funny because you didn't win, but you got really close. And I remember first seeing this months ago. I think it was on a trip with my family to Virginia, and I was freaking out watching it on my phone because it got linked to me, but no one told me what the result was. So I was like, "Oh my God, Reno!" And at the end of it, I think the best part about it, and we keep talking about how tight the community is. Everyone, everyone just ghosted PPMD. No one went to him and said congrats, but everyone came up to you like you had just won.
I
And it's
know,
like, yo,
yeah.
you're the man. Like, oh my God, Reno, that's awesome. This, that, and how did you feel like that you got to that moment? And I remember you told me you finished, I think last year, like 67th at Apex, and
Yeah, right, yeah. Something terrible.
and for a lot of people when they hear that, they're like,
Sorry.
it's okay.
That's my timer.
A lot of people when they would hear that, like 67th at Apex, wow, that was really good. You're actually irritated, and you're hoping to finish top 20 this year. Do you think you can take some of like what you learned against that, S2J and against PPMD, how close you've gotten, and how you're kind of like at the edge right there, where you can maybe take that leap into the next bracket?
Um, it's it's especially since moving into SoCal, I feel more and more accomplished because when I first moved here, it was a struggle, dude. Like the curve for the skill level out here is insane. So when I was playing at was a Skatar or yeah, Skatar 3, it was like I just felt so crazy. I don't know what it was. Something came over me and I was like, "Oh, okay. I'm going to just do this. I'm going to make all the right decisions right now." And it was like but really rewatching it has been so helpful and kind of taking me back to that thought process. And personally, I'm like 65th. Oh, I had to like ref and do blah 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 blah, and I was like, dude, so I was working Apex last year, so it's like I thought I was meh. I could have did so much better. Um, but I think with the new like practice regimen that I've been going through in SoCal, I'm going to be doing way better this year. When I had the crowd behind me, that feeling was incredible because I'm playing against one of the top players, one of the fan favorites. Even PP is like everyone loves PP. I don't think I know anyone who hates PP. He's a kind dude. He talks with really nice. Nicely, he makes time for everybody. He doesn't like discriminate against noobs or anything. And like to have the entire if you watch this video on YouTube right now, you hear the entire crowd just chanting Reno, and I'm like, what? never could I have like imagined that. I was just like such a crazy feeling. Okay, so it's 6:30 now. Sorry to just
Go ahead, do it.
real quick. So the announcement is going to come out on Twitter, on the Apex Twitter right now. If you want to take a quick look at it, let me see if I get the links and everything.
By the way, Mango did get over 1,000 last
Did
night.
he? Oh my goodness.
1350.
All right. So I'm gonna put up the tweet in a second. It has to do with Smash 4 and Smash 4 doubles. Really exciting.
Post it,
Let
man.
me
I'm waiting. I'm waiting to read it out loud.
All right. Don't refresh Twitter. You might break it. Hold on one second.
Guys,
Looks like we still have to get the link up.
Sorry, guys. I promise you, we'll have a full Q&A, and if you guys can keep it civil, you can ask all the questions you want about Apex and PM. Just keep it civil. Try not to jump on his throat. One of the interesting things while you're posting it up, and everyone always says there's a little bit of a flavor to East Coast that's different from West Coast and vice versa. And like you said, there's a skill curve. Is there things that you just noticed, like right off the bat, where you were just like, oh, you know what, this wasn't a joke, this is actually really different? Or was there things like, oh, this is exaggerated, it really isn't like that? Or character matchups. Did you get to see more characters in the West Coast that you haven't seen on the East Coast? Like, oh man, there are so many more mains of this character where I didn't get as much practice. This is so great.
Okay, so one main thing I've noticed about Smash out here is that Um, Smash on the East Coast, people try to play optimally, right? Try to play a little bit more campy than usual, but try to play optimally as best to the best they can. Like the best example of this is Hacks, right? He practices tech skill on days on end, and he really always wants to do the most optimal thing, right? Most optimal punish, the most optimal combos. He's gonna play it by the book. Out here is very read heavy. So if you notice like some of S2J's like games, or if you notice Mango's games, they were very like, especially the really famous one where it's like he reads Armada's roll and just like jumps forward and rests him out of the roll. Like most of West Coast plays like that. On top of that, they have really solid tech skills. So their punish game is going to be super, super, super on point. Like, so when they go for a hard read and then go for the all in, they really make it worth. And again, it's just like their tech skill is insane out here. Everyone's willing to travel. Everyone's, especially because the region is large-ish, like SoCal's large-ish, but everyone's about 30 minutes away from everyone, and they all like meet at a central location. So everyone's willing to travel. Everyone has a car. Everyone's going. Like everyone's just dedicated to play Smash. So you'll definitely see a lot of more people traveling, especially more than New York, who is like, it's kind of cold out today. My car's buried in the snow. I don't want to go anywhere. Like, whereas in Cali, dude, you want to play? You live where? Okay, I'll be there in 40 minutes. No problem. You know? So everyone's a bit more willing to mobilize in SoCal, which is something else that I noticed.
You think you're still going to be the hometown kid, even though you moved out? You think the Tri-State's still going to cheer for you here at Apex? I know I will. I'm actually trying to get out there specifically to cheer you on.
I think so, dude. I stay true to New York. I stay true to New York all day.
Guys, if you haven't known, by the way, Twitter at RenoNY and Twitch.tv/RenoNY, and everything has New York in it, so that's good. Another thing that we touched on yesterday, and we brought it up, and we're like, does it have any relevance to Smash? Does it have any relevance to the interview or anything? And it was the passing of your dad, and we talked about how you knew it was coming, and your whole family knew, and Zenith came up not too long afterwards, and you placed ninth at Zenith. And I wanted to ask you if you felt like your dad had anything to do with that, like if you were playing for your father, and you came up with the best answer ever, which was...
But I thought you were just gonna say it. So I didn't necessarily feel like I was playing for my dad. So my dad was in a huge decline for a while. He's had like he went from liver or hepatitis like C or something, like something wrong with his liver from like too much over stress, over drinking, and he moved to like liver cancer, and he'd been like fluctuating, but this hospital stint was like really really long. And you can tell this was like the last leg of his journey, and so he'd been suffering for a while. So when he passed away, it wasn't necessarily like I was gleeful or anything, but I was kind of like I felt better because he wasn't going to be in pain anymore. It's very painful to go through like cancer and then have to go through the like treatments or whatever. It's really bad. And the fact that he's battling it for so long, and the fact that he's like kind of more peaceful now, it felt a lot better. And it's funny because Zenith was actually the day of my dad's funeral. So I went to the funeral, and then right after the funeral, I went to Zenith because even though during the day, during the funeral itself, I had the support of my family, and it's comforting with my family. But then I wanted to also be comforted by my other family, the Smash community. So being there and having a whole bunch of people come up to me and were like, "Yo, I'm really sorry about your dad. I hope everything's all right." That kind of like community warmth, like you can't find anywhere else, in my opinion. It's just like it was the best feeling to have that extended family come up to you and be like, "Hey, dude, are you okay? Is everything good?" That feeling was incredible. And because of that, I really focused on the game that day, that weekend even, and I ended up getting ninth at Zenith, and I did really well versus Zoo, who I lost to. That put me in ninth. I beat Cactuar that day. Um, and then other people that I usually have trouble with, I just kind of breeze through, which is like really awesome feeling. So yeah, it felt good that day. Like I felt good, even though something bad had happened. Like even though the funeral happened, I still felt composed because I had my people close by.
And for you guys wondering what his answer was when it was an impromptu question, his answer was, "I don't want to say it did, because it's just too cliche." And that was your answer when we talked about the other night. If you felt like
Now
your dad affected it, you were just like, "It's just so cliche." But
it is cliche.
um,
To say my dad isn't supporting me. He doesn't like he was just like, "Oh, you're playing video games again? Focus on work." You know? And I'm like,
and to give people an idea how big Zenith is, how do you remember how many entrants or?
it might have pushed past like 200 or something or more. I don't know. I don't know the numbers actually. To be honest, I don't want to put a random number out there.
No problem. Um, so your goal is to finish Apex top 20. Um, if you don't finish top 20, if you finish a little bit lower, a little bit like what is considered to you like a good showing here at Apex?
Um, Hold on, before I answer that question. So the tweet just went live. Um, okay, so the tweet just went live, and the tweets are um, the final two teams of Wii U or Smash Wii U doubles at tourney at Apex 2015 will be invited to Chokaigi 2015 convention in Japan to compete in a series of Smash Wii U exhibition matches. Travel arrangements will be provided on behalf of the Duango company. That means that the top two teams that finish at so the first and second place winners of Wii U doubles are will be receiving a fully paid like trip to Japan to play at this convention. I'm gonna just link the article in the Twitch chat real quick, so you guys can go take a look at it. Oh, the link deleted itself, so you guys can go check out the Twitter. um, and pretty much, what that means is we are going to be opening up Smash Wii U doubles registration again for 24 hours. All the details can be found in the article. So just check out the Twitter right now, and you'll see. I think registration for doubles is open now, I believe.
That's actually a really big deal. I don't think people understand how big a deal that is.
I don't think people like it's huge. Like 4 people, fully paid trip. What to Japan? I think it's be like for 4 or 5 days.
Are you going to be jumping in now, or you be like, listen, I forgot to register really late. You got to throw me in for doubles.
I would if I weren't so terribly bad and I knew I had no chance at it, I would totally do it. But I also don't have a partner that I would want to drag down. It's just like
listen, man, I'm right here, bro. I'm right here. You just let me know. We'll Apex it up. I already have Gallo confirming that the next time Nebs comes around, we're gonna double Mario on teams. So we there's a couple of things here. So we're getting toward we're getting toward that 1 hour mark. That's actually crazy. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around it. I'm gonna ask you the same questions I asked Prague, which is the same questions they ask on Inside the Actors Studio, which is actually pretty funny questions. And then we're gonna open up to Q&A. And once again, please be civil, guys. I know this is a PM stream, but spread love. Reno took his time out. A very busy schedule. If you haven't seen how busy he is, just check out his Twitter. It's never stopping with Apex information for us. So here we go. You ready for these questions?
Do it.
Don't go around the answers. All right. Don't pull a Prague. Don't give me. Don't try to beat around the bush. All right.
I totally forgot these questions, so this is gonna be totally candid. So
okay,
go for it.
What is your favorite word?
My favorite word. Okay, I'm just gonna say the first word that comes to my mind. It's definitely moist.
What?
Because people hate it. Because a lot of people I've talked to hate the word moist.
A lot of people do.
Moist. Moist has become. This is the first word I thought of, so it's going to be the one I'm going with.
What is your least favorite word?
Uh, I would have to say my least favorite word is um, I I want to say it's a whole bunch of words though. It's just like any sort of derogatory racial or sexual orientation, like like insults.
Prague
It
has the
just
same
sounds
answer.
terrible.
Yeah.
Like yeah,
What turns you on?
mm, bears. Bears are like it's like a set of it's a body type in the queer community. Yeah, them.
What what turns you off?
uh, Keyboard warriors and ignorant people.
That's a good answer. What is your favorite curse word?
Mm, probably bitch.
What is a sound or a noise you love?
um, huh. I think a sound or noise that I love. Probably the satisfaction. I like the sound of popping open a soda, like either a twist cap or the can. Like that's it's like a little satisfying.
What is a sound you hate?
It's nails on a chalkboard.
Same exact
Like
answer as Prague.
uh,
That's pretty funny.
it gets me.
Every
I
time.
did he? Yeah, I don't
Um,
know. Like
what what profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
um, man, I don't know if I have like. Okay, so right now, I would say my profession right now is like kind of like a PR slash gamer slash like marketer person thing, right? If I had a choice, I would definitely maybe transfer over to cooking. I
Oh,
think
you
that's
are a
one.
foodie. You can find him on Tumblr too. He's got a food
Yeah.
blog. Um, do you have you know what's your food blog? Tumblr dot what?
My food blog is
Oh,
xiaochow.com. So
you're gonna have to link that. People don't know that Asian pronunciation. Um, what is a profession you would not want to attempt?
uh, uh, garbage men.
All right, last question, and then we're gonna open up to Q&A. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Oh man, it would have to be something like all the sheets up here are like 1,000 thread count, not for joking, but for like real, like 1,000 thread count, and all you can eat seafood buffet is around the corner. That'd be amazing.
All right, so we're gonna open up the Q&A right now. We already have a couple questions kind of queued up. Um, obviously, they're gonna be Apex related. They're gonna be PM related, for the most part.
Sure.
The first question from Plap, which is becoming one of my favorite followers, is Nintendo's view of mods of games the primary of modded games? I'm sorry, the primary factor of a game not being featured at Apex.
So, um, okay, so unofficially, it's kind of obvious, right? Where it's like Nintendo, when you have a game like PM, um, Nintendo is like you're using Nintendo's intellectual property, their base game, and you are modding it to create something new. And from that, when you create this new game and distribute it, you distribute Nintendo's intellectual property. Uh, Again, this isn't from any, so this is not official statement. This is like from what is out there, right? Um, and when you distribute Nintendo's property without their knowledge slash permission to, uh, it's no bueno. It's illegal, and especially because people are making money off of it. In terms of like tournaments they host that they collect venue fees that PM's at, or unfortunately, this could later on might be like, if you're putting it on a channel, and you happen to make money off of it, and Nintendo wouldn't see any of it, like especially like money that doesn't go to Nintendo. So it's like it's not in Nintendo's best interest for a fan-made game to be popular, or it would detract from their sales of their non-modded games, right? So it just Nintendo has nothing to gain and more to lose from allowing PM at an officially like Nintendo endorsed tournament.
Okay. Um, and I'm looking up a link too because someone had a comment about you being on the show and just being like, "Oh, I know what he's gonna say already," so I don't want to like tune in. And it was kind of like a very close-minded way. Another question is, why is the PM streaming community bad?
Why is the PM streaming community bad? Um, I would have to say it's because more people just need to pick up the camera. More people need to just set it up. It's not bad. It may be scarce, but it's also has to do with people. There's just not enough content out there. There's not enough people streaming it. There's not enough people interested to watch. Like it's all up to the PM community to hype up the PM community. Like people are watching Mango. Those are all like mostly melee players, right? And then PM players are into it because Mango's a huge name. If you're a huge player in the PM scene, yeah, dude, you get stream views. But it's about you have to have it first. You can even have a big stream even without having like being a pro at PM if you have an entertaining stream. It's like it's mostly like on the not about the game you play. It's about being involved in the community and being involved in consistency and having a personality when you stream. It's like it's all those factors that have to do with it, not just oh why isn't PM being streamed
Well,
more.
I mean, I yell at you all the time about your stream because you like to stream League of Legends,
I love League
and
of Legends.
and I don't disagree with the love of the game. It's just you like to stream League of Legends, and we always say, listen, man, you're like a little fish in a humongous ocean. When you do that, when you do melee, you get more viewers, and even when you do melee, you don't get as many viewers as you deserve. And you're right. Sometimes it just has to be like it's one of those things where timing has a lot to do with it, and then just sometimes just stupid luck. Um, this is what the person said on Reddit, and I'm bringing it up because I figured when people are saying that they kind of know what you're gonna say, it'd be interesting. I know for a fact that Reno will say something along the lines of they just need to make their scene stand out and host more PM and run more tourneys or something to that effect. He doesn't know how much work, and he linked Pooch 182. Is putting into getting a regional sized event going for PM. I'm sure there are plenty of other people also working on a larger sized event, but Reno probably sees complaints all the time. Now, here's the thing. My response was this, and I want to see if it kind of lines up with what you were thinking. I feel that the PM community, not just the streaming community, but the PM community in general, likes to settle. And what I mean by that is they're very happy with their weeklies pulling 120 people in some areas, 100 people in other areas, and then in New York City, for whatever reason, we can only scrap up like 35. But we have very lazy smashers here. They don't mind that. They like to settle, and I don't think they have a big enough picture in mind. There are very few people that do, and those are the people that if PM does scrap itself out of the ground, we're gonna be able to thank them in the future, and we're gonna love them to death. Like we love like those melee players that help revive melee. But I think they settle too much, and what ends up happening is those top tier players that are very, very, very good in PM, like DJ Nintendo comes up every week and he wins grand finals without even putting any time into it, and Vans is coming out and things like that, and then you have other players that are kind of in there. They're gonna get bored of it because weeklies are weeklies. You're playing like you said. You used to go to weeklies just to hang out, so I don't feel like those top tier players are gonna have the same look at PM until something humongous is really organized all around the country, not just, hey, we have a couple people coming from New York to Xanadu, or vice versa.
So my opinion on PM, because um, it the community is youngish, right? Because PM came out is the last to come out barring like besides for Wii U, like PM is the most new community, right? Um, and because of this, PM does have a lot of followers, does have a lot of people who enjoy playing PM, but there are not enough self starters to create something for instance, like I don't want to put it that way, like Melee is better than PM or anything, but like for Melee players, they started ROM, right, to kind of bring back Melee, and I touched on this a little bit earlier, and it's something like you need to start creating instead of putting your energy trying to be a part of like that's I don't want to say it like this, but trying to be a part of like another tournament, having a PM centric tournament, starting like an Apex-esque tournament that features PM. I think that's like a big step. I think that if someone were to do that, you would have people like, if you have a good reputation and a popular PM like tournament host, and you work it up and you make it to something as big as like an Apex, people are gonna be clamoring to come to your event. Like you can't just start at nothing and expect people to just kind of come to you. You have to build yourself up. The community has to build itself up and grow. Obviously, being on the Apex staff, I see a lot of negativity coming from PM players that are obviously unhappy about it, and I'm just like you have to put your frustrations to something else, to creating a better community. Yes, when Prog and D1 want to talk about one unit to support each other, absolutely. Like, there are a lot of people who play PM and play Melee who support both, right? But we're always talking about the positives. We're always talking about how we can help, because that's what the Smash community should be about, is helping. Because we're all like, we're bros, like we're all friends, like, and not so much about being bitter, being upset that your game didn't make it in. Like it's a whole bunch of logistical issues, legal issues. It's not because like Apex was like, oh, I don't want PM there. Like why would Apex want to do that? Apex, PM at Apex has always been there for the past like 3 years, I think, or 2 or 3 years. And last year is the second largest tournament at Apex. Like logically and from a business standpoint, it doesn't make sense for people to be like, oh, we're Apex staff, we don't want PM, our second largest community. Like it doesn't make sense either way. And honestly, if you critically think about it, like we would not exclude PM unless we absolutely had to.
And someone in the chat just basically said, we all know it's because of, obviously the partnership with Nintendo and things like that. But honestly, even with that, it doesn't really matter. As Reno was saying, piggybacking off of it, until the community itself can make an event that's like Apex, or an event that is going to draw that main crowd in, well, we have to kind of get used to it as a community, because Nintendo's not going anywhere, but PM can certainly disappear very quickly if we don't support it and make sure we're going to make it grow and things like that. So frustrating about Apex and things like that isn't going to solve anything, but making an event that's bigger, making an event that's going to be a main draw where we're going to want those top Melee players, are going to want to come see us and come here and play, that changes the entire ball game, because now you can look at the Apex event and just go like, all right, we missed out on it, but we have our own big thing coming up. Versus every year where you're building up this anticipation, and then if Nintendo decides to partner again next year, well, guess what? We're going to be asked out, and then that's just one of those things. And like you said, there's not much you guys can do about it. Business-wise, it makes perfect sense for Apex to involve PM, with it being the second largest tournament last year, and I'm sure it would have been in the mix this year for sure. But it's just one of those things that complaining isn't going to fix anything. It never has. Let's see.
Like, and it's just as like a personal effect. I don't personally hate PM. I entered PM last year, and I actually made it out of my first round pool. It was awesome. I played Sheik, and I played Fox and Marth.
Yo, they're really good now. You might want to come back. I'm just giving you a heads up. That
yeah, I heard.
Batch.
Yeah, I heard melee characters got a buff. I kind of got upset at like when Mewtwo came out. I thought he was too gimmicky, and I didn't really enjoy that. I like watching, like, for instance, I love watching Professor Pro play. I think he's amazing. Um,
Like the little
but
grab
again, it's just
dance,
like,
little grab
oh,
dance.
dude, freaking
You freaked
yeah,
out.
that was amazing.
The
That was like
tranquilizer.
his
Uh,
comments are insane.
but a key man asked, but you already answered it. If you played PM, who your mains were, you picked all melee characters, which I'm telling you, man, you gotta come back. The revival is real on those characters. PM,
It's mostly because like they gave brawl characters different move sets, so I don't recognize a lot of them.
you don't want to
Like for
learn.
instance, yeah, and it's like it's a lot of work to learn, right? Because obviously, if I pick the game up, I want to be good at it, but it's a lot of effort to like learn that Ganon now hovers and Mewtwo can do teleport, hover, neutral air that beats almost anything. So it's just like, it's a lot of effort that I don't think I can add to my list of games that I already play. Like again, like League, Counter Strike, and Smash, Melee. You know, it's like it's a lot already.
By the
Um,
way, quick question for melee: wobbling isn't banned, right? Question mark.
no, wobbling is not banned.
Okay. And you answered a question about your mains. I mean, there's some real discussion that's always up, uh, and it's actually really funny. I think a lot of it has to do just with the community in the core. Like we talk about complaining and stuff. It's okay. They're not complaining just at you. They like to complain with each other also. Whether it's patch 2.6 was so much better than 3.0, and 3.5 is so much worse than 3.0, and all this other stuff. And I think PM will finally get solidified as a game once it finds a patch where it's happy with the amount of balanced characters or quote unquote balanced characters and lets it run its course. And then after that, it's only bug fixes and let the meta grow and let people get used to what's going on. Because I think it was the other day I posted on Reddit about the interview, and Gallo had messaged me on Facebook, and Gallo was like, "Why are people downvoting your interview thing?" And I was like, I don't know. I said people even downvoted it when I was going to interview Prague, and I was like, and Prague's always been like the good guy melee. Like I don't get why people want to downvote it. And I explained to him sometimes people just don't want to support and they don't realize how negative they are toward the community by doing stupid little things like that. Like this channel since day one has always been about the community. People come in here and they'll be like, I don't know how to play this character, and me and one of my followers will pick up the two characters and we'll play out matchups for them. And people like Gallo has been on here, Guru has been on here, obviously Prague was here for the interview, you're here right now, and it's always been about the community. And sometimes you gotta wonder on the other side of Smash community, like the PM side and all that, if they're ready to be considered a part as a whole, because it doesn't seem like they want to be. It's weird. Like they want to be included, but at the same time, they want their independence from home. You know, like no, you're not my real dad. I don't want like you can't tell me what to do. But at the same time, it's like I'm gonna live my own life, and it's weird. But that's something that the PM has had a hard time finding itself. And I think that those patches that are released, those balances and new characters, there's like a leak out there of Knuckles and all like all this crazy stuff. And I'm just sitting here like I sat here when I played League of Legends, which was like, hey, how about you fix the characters you have right now instead of adding more stuff? And I think that's why PM has such a hard time. Another quick question for Melee: is Congo Jungle 64 still legal in teams?
Um, I don't have the rule book in front of me right now. I think for Apex, it was legal past Apexes. So for I don't know. I would just check the Apex website. They have a rule book that has a list of all the stages and stuff.
Okay, let's see. There's a lot of stuff going on in chat. Thank you for answering my question, good sir. That comes from that real guy who camps. 3.5 is kind of balanced. Low and mid tiers need a small nerf from Weak Gucci. Yeah, low and mid tier need a nerf. Oh, come on, stop it. How far into the ground do you want to put these poor characters? I think question-wise, that almost said everything. Everything else is pretty much speculation kind of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
Apex was told, all that kind of stuff. But
I mean, all I can say, because I don't know exactly either what the sponsorship entails, like, that's still being worked out. Like, we were really excited to release just the tweet because it's really hype, and obviously registration was around that time, right? But
this is actually an excellent question. Sorry, go ahead.
but it's just like, that's what we wanted to do, plus, and, like, obviously, I'm not making any decisions, but Alex Strife, he's business minded, and he has, Apex is his baby. He would not make a bad decision regarding Apex. Is what I'm saying. So it's just like I know everyone's tired of hearing wait and see, but it's like when you if you were just constantly spamming all the Apex staff, we really have like as much information as you. I mean, I'm at least for me. I work the Apex Twitter, so like I know that it's a sponsorship. I know Nintendo's behind it, and I know we're getting stuff, but I don't know what stuff. I don't know what's going on. So it's just like we're waiting for the press release too. We're waiting to release the press release.
So here's an excellent question, and I hear this all the time, and it kind of just like it makes me pull my hair out. Are Apex staff allowed to host PM tournaments separately from Apex, like a local or something? If not, will they be allowed to after Apex is over? So basically, like what, and it happens all the time, and I hear about it all the time. If you're part of the Apex staff, can you show no support toward PM, at least publicly through Twitter and Facebook? And can you still host your, separate weeklies and things like that? Or is it right now everyone's just kind of just nervous and tenuous to themselves and saying, hey, you know what, we're going to lie low, and then after everything's done, we'll do what I got to do?
I'll be honest right now, it's just kind of like Apex staff in general has been like, should probably avoid it, especially now that we're in the spotlight. It doesn't make sense. It's like bad for
Bad PR.
bad for business, bad
Yeah.
PR.
Yeah.
It's not great, especially to have it'd be like biting the mouth that feeds you. Like Nintendo's sponsoring us, and to do something that's obviously clearly against what Nintendo would want, it's just kind of like, why would we do that? It only harms us, and like doesn't make any sense. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. It's kind of like logically,
Hands tied, dude. It's
yeah,
understandable. It's like you said, business is business, and at the end of the day, you got 1,024 people there for Melee, which is amazing, and you have over 800 people for Smash 4, almost 200 people for Smash 64, almost 200 people for Brawl. I mean, to jeopardize something like that over a weekly or bi-weekly somewhere in the middle of Nebraska or something, it just isn't worth it. And I kind of understand with that. People more speculation. Let's see. Well, this actually the issue, like a lot of people's issue, I guess here it is. It's Psycho Waffles says my issue is that it's alienating one community for Nintendo quote unquote confetti, since they have actually done anything to nothing to support the scene. And then here's an actual question though. And I have my answer. Who do you think is gonna win Apex? You're gonna win, dude. How can you be like? How could you just go in there and not even?
I don't know. I do want to win, but right now I still have some stuff to do. I just want to do well right now. I think this next year I'm gonna be realistic. Like
I told you after it happened. I'm rooting for you 100%. If you win, I'm gonna cry. Like I'm gonna be as happy as you are. I think Mango has to win because of what happened. Like I just feel like he went there, and I feel like now the way that social media is, where everything's in a 5-minute time capsule, if he goes out there and has another bad performance, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh my God, what happened to Mango? How could this happen?" When really he placed third, like it's not even like he did great. But
personally, I hope Mango wins. I'm a fan of Mango. I haven't seen a lot of people. It's like my two choices usually are like Mango, PP, like those are my favorites. But I do want to address Psycho Waffles real quick, and just because they haven't revealed exactly what it is that they're offering doesn't mean it's nothing, and just for them announcing that they back Apex is supporting the scene. If I want to say, if it weren't for Nintendo, I don't know if Melee would have hit cap. I don't know if our Wii U numbers would be like in the 800s. And especially with this new announcement, I don't know that if by the end of registration for Wii U teams, if it's Nintendo, because Nintendo's doing this for us, if we're not getting more attendees to Apex and making it a bigger and better tournament, what we physically receive in terms of stuff is still remain to be seen. But just from exposure alone to the competitive scene that Nintendo has offered, it's been so incredible,
I kind of look at it this. It might have like a weird effect on the PM community where people bring more attention to it because of Apex. And I know that sounds weird because we're not there, but to say that someone doesn't read a Twitter feed that's saying I can't believe PM's not here, or man, it would have been great to have PM here, and then at least go like I don't know what that is, let me look into it, and then fall in love with the game, and that give it some type of exposure, isn't that's not far fetched at all. I mean, you look back at July, I didn't know what PM was, like and it's just one of those things. Like sometimes, even though right now it's bad exposure, but not being exposed as much as you want, it still brings some type of exposure to the game, and maybe that brings light to it. And as far as what you said before, 4 people trip to Japan and back. That's a lot of that's a lot of cash that Nintendo's throwing you guys' way for at least supporting the community. That's amazing. Like, who would have thought, 4 or 5 years ago, Nintendo was going to send people to Japan to play, on the Wii U at a sudden death finals. Like that's crazy. You never thought that. So that's really cool. If you guys just joined in late, by the way, the top 2 teams from Apex are going for Smash Brothers Wii U are gonna be flown to Japan to, I guess, fight to the death, and the surviving 2 get sent back home with prizes, and that's amazing. Like it for the Smash community as a whole, which is what I think we need to start looking at as together rather than PM and Melee and then Smash 4 and all that stuff. That's amazing. Any other final questions before I let Will go tend to his life? The Q&A got a little longer than I thought it was. But
It's
it's
all
good though.
good.
It's good.
I hope I addressed some of your concerns. Like, I can't obviously I can't make anything official. I can't personally make PM happen at Apex. I can't do a lot of things. Like, I report, like, I'm the messenger here, right? I like Apex. I like PM. I like the Smash community. I just want to. I hope that there's more of like a collaboration, obviously in the future. It's just hard when we have a lot of companies looking at us, and it's just like, again, it's not the fact that we don't want it. It's the legal issues here that come into play, and we don't want to get sued, and we want to have a good relationship with Nintendo because they are supporting the scene.
Last question by me. I'll ask you the same question I asked Prague, and then we're out. Which is basically, you think PM's gonna make it as a community, as this thing? Do you think, because one of the comments that someone brought up, and you know who it is, Knox. He brought it up. He said PM has the ability to be the best Smash game ever. Not scene wise, not. I know you guys got history, 13 years plus. God bless. What I'm saying is, what I brought up before, once you patch it, you get your maybe a solid 10, 15 characters that are viable, and then you do nothing but big bug fixes. Because of that, because you can expand what's considered viable and how many stages you have, and maybe expand on what Melee built, you think it has the staying power? Because it's scary scene to be a part of.
I think PM, if it goes forward the way it is now, this is going to be honest, completely honest right now. If you keep moving forward, being a part of another tournament and not having your own tournament and not having PM be the highlight, the last thing on stream, being the last whatever, you are going to be in trouble as a community. Progressing as it is now, if PM's only piggy banking on other large tournaments, it's going to be troublesome to continue on. So at the current state, if you keep moving forward, yeah, dude, I don't see PM lasting too long. But if you love your community, like a lot of you say or a lot of you feel, I know you do, you have to act. You have to act. Inaction is going to be the failure and the downfall of PM.
Literally had this conversation on stream with Gambit. I don't know if you know Gambit in the New York City area.
I know, I'm not familiar with him.
Yeah, so literally brought it up, like, because we were talking about the how school is out and people were like around playing and stuff, and Smash 4 came out and like the PM numbers got bigger, and one of the things I brought up was like, well, what happens when people go back to school and Smash 4, like the people that jumped on the hype wagon kind of dwindle down a little bit, and you have just your real competitive players? What happens to PM? Oh, well, I think it'll be fine. That's not the mentality to have, in my opinion. And it's up in the air with that stuff too. Like you don't really know who wants to grow the community and who's just like I said, the community likes to settle, and that's the only thing that frightens me. There's a lot of settling in the PM community, which is unsettling.
You definitely need to dream bigger, go big or go home. Right now, it's a lot of going home, and we need people to do.
All right,
I
so I'm not gonna bother you anymore. Thank you for your time. We have Apex Reno, top 100 melee, looking to place top 20 at Apex in a couple of weeks, which I can't. Oh man, bro, I'm gonna be so hyped for you. Um, and I think that's the quote of the day and the quote of the stream is just go big or go home because that's what we need here. Thanks for your time.
Bye.
All right, I'm gonna hang up on you. Sorry, bud.
Bye.
All right, so just to quickly wrap up, we kind of hit up on everything we could in that situation. We talked about Apex. We talked about the community on its own, the community growing. If you're new to my channel, this is going to be a once a week thing. Next week we either have FS Frozen or Vans. It just kind of depends on scheduling and things like that. And I've definitely contacted some much bigger names too. If you haven't followed my channel before, or if you're new to it, I'm usually a PM streamer. We discuss a bunch of things. We always have Q's and A's, open forum kind of thing in chat. But that doesn't limit it just to PM. We talk about everything. It's Smash 4, PM. Someone brought up 64 stuff the other day. Everyone is welcome here. There's no flaming in the chat. There's no hating on this person because they like this game. That doesn't exist here. There's a lot of sarcasm, but for the most part, everyone's really cool. But my job here as a streamer and as a PM, I guess, love enthusiast is just flat out to try to grow it on my end. You know, I do go to Nebulous. I commentate now at the Neo Nebulous, which is going to start again on February 8th, and that's been a great experience. But as he said it before, the game needs more than just piggybacking off of Smash 4 and things of that nature. So what I'm hoping to do is kind of grow as a streamer, playing PM and doing, you know, at least 2 days a week of PM coverage, whether it's through interviews or through tomorrow with FS Gallo and FS Frozen, which are pretty big names in PM and pretty big name in PM in Smash 4. We're going to do a new thing called the Salt Mines, and this is the layout for it. You guys get a little sneak peek on it. And, wait, sneak peek, ink. And this is going to be the layout for it, and basically in the center screen, we're going to be playing stuff from tournaments that have gone by, breaking down why a stock went a certain way or why a match went a certain way, and then we'll have all the different guests. So you'll have me, you'll have Gallo, you'll have Frozen, we'll probably have another guest. Sometimes it'll be Dark Blue, sometimes it might be Nox, might be maybe we'll get Reno back on, he can kind of break down also. And it's going to be open Q&A stuff too. You see the little banner at the bottom kind of giving you an idea of what we're going to try to hit up on. So there's a lot of growth to be had here. It's honestly up to you guys. By supporting, following, hitting up on Reddit, messaging me if you have anything interesting that I should put up on stream and things like that. But I will be back on later tonight. It might not be with PM. I know, a lot of hype for nothing. It might not be with PM. It might be with Starbound or something like that. Just something casual after an interview. And I want to thank everyone for coming out. Thanking again Apex Reno. And you guys have a great night, and I'll see you in a bit.